Simi Valley's Hummingbird Trail is a really unique adventure. There are several different options of trails that you can take here, but if you do the cave and the loop like we're going to do in this video here, you're looking at a distance of around 5 miles and an elevation gain of around 1,545 feet. This trail can be a little bit confusing and it is definitely not the easiest one to follow, but we're going to give you a couple of tricks. After you cross the large dirt field, you're going to want to find the small trail that snakes around and heads back towards the freeway. This is where you're going to really have to start using your navigational skills on this hike. At right around the 0.4 of a mile mark, you're going to come to a split. It's going to have an arrow pointing to the right, but if you want to get to the cave first, you're going to make a left here. This is pretty much where all trail markers will cease to exist. If you're trying to find the cave, you need to follow the white rabbits. If you are looking for a beautiful and serene hike in nature, I hate to break it to you, but this is probably not the hike for you. There is unfortunately a ton of graffiti here. As much as I appreciate the white rabbits leading the way, I would much rather see rock cairns or other forms of trail marking. On the other hand, if you're coming here looking for a workout, this trail will definitely fit the bill. The climb here seems pretty relentless, with only short downhill sections to help you catch your breath before heading back up again. We definitely recommend doing this hike on cooler days. Besides the caves that are along the trail, there isn't a ton of shade, and this would be super brutal on a hot day. Eventually, the white rabbits disappeared and were replaced by white arrows. We had done a fair amount of research on this hike, so we knew that the white arrows meant we were getting closer to the cave. We were getting a little bit excited until we noticed that someone had painted on the rocks that we were still 3 miles away. Luckily, he was just joking, and you're actually really quite close at this point. It definitely made me wonder how many people had seen this, gotten discouraged, and turned around. It'd be such a bummer because you're literally right there. You will know that you found it when you see the steel cable that is bolted into the rock. It might not be a horrible idea to bring some gloves. The cable was pretty smooth when we were there, but as it ages, it might fray a little bit, and you definitely don't want a sliver like that. And just like that, congratulations, because you found the Hummingbird Cave. Even though we did a lot of research on the hike, we hadn't seen a ton of pictures of the cave, so we weren't fully sure what to expect. We were pretty surprised to see that it was actually 2 caves that were full of swings, hammocks, nets, and other places to kick back and relax. I'm not gonna lie, the climb up to the upper cave is a little bit exciting. The ladder's a little bit on the rickety side, but it did its job. It was pretty amazing to see all the time and effort that someone had put into rigging up all the swings inside the cave. They were all bolted directly into the rock, and that's not something that's easy to do. Even seeing that though, V still wanted to do a little test pull before she trusted the hammock. It really is a cool place to hang out, and there's a lot of stuff to play with. V even wanted to try getting up into the net. I gave her a little boost and she got up there no problem. After she came down, I decided I wanted to try it too. I gotta say, it's not as comfortable as the hammocks, but it's still pretty cool. I think that one of the highlights of our visit to the cave is that there was a storm rolling off in the distance. We took the time to just sit back, relax, and watch the storm pass before we got back on the trail. At first, because of the bad weather, we weren't sure if we were just going to head back to the car or complete the loop, but then we thought, hey, we're the That Adventure Life team and we're not gonna let a little bit of rain stop us. To complete the loop, you're going to head back the way you came and keep your eyes peeled big time for a small trail on the right. If you see pedal strikes on the rocks from the mountain bikes, you know you're probably going the right way. You also need to keep your eyes peeled for those mountain bikers that are coming down some of those super sketchy hills. A lot of them had bells on this day, so you could hear them coming from a distance, but some of them didn't. The only tough thing about completing the loop is that there is a lot more climbing to do. Usually when you do a hike that climbs up to a particular spot, you get to enjoy the fact that it's going to be all downhill after that. That's not the case here. You are going to be making your way through some rolling hills and you still have another 460 feet of elevation to go. Once you reach this wide dirt road, you can enjoy the fact that you are pretty much done climbing for the rest of the day. There are some small uphills, but nothing major from here on. The trail also seems to get a little bit more simple from here on. We did come to forks in the trail, but it usually seemed obvious which way we needed to go. This side of the hill seemed to be much less used for some reason. It was definitely refreshing to get back to nature and away from all of the graffiti. Even though you've seen the main star of the hike, which is the Hummingbird Cave, there are still a lot of really cool little wind caves as you make your way back down the hill. Speaking of down the hill, you may want to take your time on the way back to the car. The way down is just about as relentless as the way up, and if you're stomping your way down the hill, your legs are going to be super sore by the time you hit the car. One great thing about this hike is that you can see the freeway for most of it. That should help keep you from getting lost. In fact, we could see the Jeep for half the hike down. As tired as our legs were getting, we were trying to figure out a way to get it to come pick us up. Finally, we passed the fork where we made the left to climb up to the cave, and we knew we were almost home free. We really enjoyed this hike, and we would love to do it again. If you want to experience it for yourself, be sure to practice Leave No Trace, and maybe even leave the place better than you found it. What are your favorite hikes that lead to strange and interesting places? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoy our adventures, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified when we make new videos. Check us out on Instagram at thatadventurelife_official, and for all the information about this hike as well as other awesome things to do in Southern California, head on over to thatadventurelife.com.